Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining the GoodWe residential hybrid webinar. And for this webinar, we'll be focusing on the ES Uniq hybrid inverter, which is a single-phase residential hybrid inverter. So feel free to jump into the Q&A section so that we can interact or answer your questions later on. With me, I'm joined with Caroline. She's our marketing manager. And yeah, right off, let's begin the webinar. So let me give you a brief agenda of the the topics that we'll be focusing today. I'll start off with the company portfolio, introducing the GoodWe company portfolio. Then I'll introduce you to the ES Uniq series, which is a single-phase hybrid inverter. Then you'll have a look at a number of case references, mostly shared case references for the Africa, done in Africa. And then, with the Q&A, I hope you'll be active there so that we can also jump into the Q&A section. So beginning with the company portfolio, GoodWe's visions or envisions to be the driving force towards the world's smart energy future. And in this sense, we are transitioning the globe or the energy source of the globe to be a very much sustainable, which is very looking forward into the renewable energy and the sustainable future. Now, from this, you'll have to see you just by seeing on the GoodWe moments. Well, first off, I'm going to highlight the main topics or the main junctures that GoodWe has undergone through. So GoodWe was first established in 2010, and right off, we launched our first PV inverter R&D center, and ever since we've started growing or establish our foothold in the market globally. So from China, we expanded towards more into the Asian market, then into the Australian market, launched our own monitoring portal. So it's an all-in-one solution. And yes, we do have market presence all over the globe. For example, we have an office in support office in Africa, Kenya, that is South Africa. We'll be opening one in Nigeria. We have more support offices in Middle East, in Germany, Europe, and everywhere globally. So we are also financially stable, and just recently, GoodWe just received a Tier 1 inverter manufacturer in this year, 2025. So talk about Tier 1 inverter manufacturer. This is the latest from Bloomberg. So basically, this is the sense that GoodWe, there is no other PV inverter manufacturer who does better technology than GoodWe. So this is a very big juncture, just to showcase you that GoodWe products have been researched before being launched into the market and have been stringently been tested, so that we've been awarded Tier 1 inverter manufacturer by Bloomberg this year, 2025. So a number of awards, apart from being Tier 1, for example, quality awards, I'll highlight the important ones or the major ones. So we have quality awards, 7 consecutive years, Red Dot Design. And apart from that, we have the EcoVadis and efficiency. So all these awards just show what GoodWe has been achieving over the years since 2010. So production-wise, because we are supporting the whole globe, not just residential, we have products up to utility. I'll take you through that in the upcoming slides. But production-wise, and with unparalleled quality and maximum efficiency, GoodWe is able to manufacture 35 gigawatt of solar inverters on demand and 5 gigawatt hour of lithium-ion batteries. So the strictly LFP batteries, that's what GoodWe is dealing with. Now, the products that GoodWe have been releasing since 2010 have been from the smallest inverter, which is 700 watts, to the biggest inverter, which is 350 kilowatt. So we are focusing from residential all the way to utility. And ever since, GoodWe has managed to monitor over or install over 100 gigawatt of plants. You can see we have 7.7, over 7 gigawatt of hybrid inverters running or being monitored in our own portal. Over 43 gigawatt of residential grid-tied inverters, over 10 gigawatt on utility sectors, and over 38 gigawatt for the C&I sector. So this is dated 2025 this year, and definitely we have more than this as days go. So the portfolio is quite broad. As of today, we'll be focusing on the hybrid or the energy storage section, which basically we have from 3 to 100 kilowatts. But in this webinar, we'll be focusing on the ES Uniq, take you through the properties of the ES Uniq in the upcoming slides. But our portfolio is big because we are supporting the global market. So residentially, we have smallest from 700 watts to 30 kilowatt. These are daytime inverters. Then for the commercial and industrial sector, we have 25 kilowatts to 125 kilowatts. Then utility, 225 to 350 kilowatts. Uniq, we have our own monitoring portal, our own software. So the smart energy management system is our monitoring portal. We have hybrid inverters from 3 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt. We manufacture lithium-ion batteries. We have unique market segments like the EV charger. We have heat pumps, subsidiary just established last year, 2024. And we also manufacture integrated panels for unique residential solutions. So I'll jump into the main topic that we have today. So that was a brief introduction of the GoodWe portfolio and the products that we offer, apart from the ES Uniq inverter that we are focusing on today. So what do you get when you're focusing on, when you're interested in your residential solutions, the PV residential solution? So GoodWe took its time to develop a product called the ES Uniq inverter. So this is a hybrid inverter with a number of properties, a number of benefits. This gives into the, or it adds into the reason why you should be investing into the ES Uniq or in your residential home system because of a number of features. So how does it look like? The picture on the left, that's the ES Uniq inverter, hybrid inverter. So the power ranges of this inverter is from 3 kilowatt all the way to 12 kilowatts. It's a single phase hybrid inverter and it's very much scalable. So the bigger your home grows or the bigger you want your system to generate, then you can increase it up to 6 pieces in parallel to work as a single system. And if you have a diesel generator already installed in your home, then no worries. The inverter also comes with a dedicated port for the AC power from the diesel generator. So you easily integrate your system or your home with PV and diesel generator. I'll talk into these factors. They are more in-depth later on in the upcoming slides. And we've been focusing on, most of the times we hear microgrids. So what's this? I'll also focus deeper into this microgrid functionality, but here, the inverter can be utilized in a microgrid scenario. That is, you connect an on-grid inverter to the inverter, one of the ports. I'll show you which port it is. And the inverter will work as one along with the on-grid inverter to establish the microgrid capability. It is user-friendly. And the fact that I'm saying user-friendly is actually an understatement. We're giving you lots of options of how you can interact, install, and monitor this product. Now, the ES Uniq comes with a touch screen, colored touch screen at the front, as well as standard communication module or the communication dongle. Easy ways, various ways to connect or utilize or set up your system. You can either use the touch screen, you can use the dongle, that is through Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or your local area network, the LAN, and you'll set up this system or communicate with it. Now, we are using the low voltage for residential sector with the ES Uniq, and uniquely, we are compatible with the lithium-ion batteries as well as lead-acid batteries. So if you have a home that already has the lead-acid batteries, then no worries. You can still install the ES Uniq and run with the lead-acid batteries up until the point the batteries are no longer that much efficient. Then you can replace these lead-acid batteries with the GoodWe lithium-ion batteries. So why we prefer the GoodWe lithium-ion batteries? Because the inverter itself has high charging and discharging current, so up to 240 amps. That is better suited for the GoodWe Lynx A lithium-ion batteries. I'll take you through the GoodWe Lynx A lithium-ion batteries later on. And if you have a big load in your house, similarly, the inverter comes with a high bypass current. So this allows you to, enables you or gives you the option of installing or backing up the whole house without the instances of system shutting down. And for example, if you're having, you'd like to generate more, from the early morning hours, or even ensure your batteries are fully charged by the end of the day. Then the ES Unique comes with the high DC oversizing, so up to 200% DC oversizing, and we are able to achieve 100% power output through the AC, that is to support your house fully. And apart from that, we get 100% just to divert and directly charge your battery. So you get assured that your batteries will be full by the end of the day, utilizing our oversizing capabilities. Now, how does the ES Unique look like? So I'm going to highlight the big topics big features that allow the ES Unique to be a hot product selling in the market right now. So first off, how easy it is to install, monitor this product. It comes with a touch screen, monitoring touch screen. So you'll be getting a flow chart to show you how the system is generating and supporting the house, as well as charging the batteries or even discharging the battery to support your house. It also shows you the status of the product itself through the screen. So not only through the screen, but apart from the screen, we have the communication dongle. So wherever you are in your house, whether in the sitting room or even chilling somewhere in the carport, if you just whip out your phone and log into our monitoring portal, then our communication dongle that comes standard with the product, you'll be able to see the status of the product functionality. And because this is now Middle East and Africa, we have the temperature issue. Well, this is no longer an issue with the ES Unique because this is already covering. Apart from being compact, we have a heat sink at the back, which is very optimally sized. So how this system works, apart from the heat sink, we have cooling fans at the bottom. So the cooling fans are smart cooling fans. So smart in the sense that it's not a must for the fans to run. The heat sink itself can optimally cool the inverter. But in case the environmental temperatures get so high, then the inverter is smart enough to control the fan speed so that we don't run full speed and run the fans in full speed. So we only cool it optimally. So we are reducing noise in your house apart from generating power efficiently. So the fan will only run at full speed in case the inverter is overheating. In case the inverter is at very low temperature, then the fan speed are also low. So we're minimizing the noise in your house apart from just reducing the size of the inverter as it generates more. So I mentioned a number of topics, diesel generator and the lights. So we have three ports. We have a port for the diesel generator, we have a port for the grid, and we have a port for your essential loads. So these are the ports that you're now going to utilize so that you get your optimal functionality. I'll talk about these topics also later on. And we're giving you a number of MPPTs. Homes nowadays are getting complex roof structures, so your MPPTs will now be very much functional so that we tap the different generation capabilities throughout the day through the various MPPTs that ES Unique has. So you've seen how the ES Unique looks like. Now, what do you get when you're buying the ES Unique? GoodWe has been offering solutions, and all our solutions are actually all-in-one solution. Now, what do I say? Why do I say all-in-one solution? Apart from just getting the inverter, the product itself, we are also offering accessories that come with the product as standard. So what kind of accessories? We have the mounting plugs, we have the MC4 connectors, we have the mounting plates. We also have the smart dongle. It's a smart dongle latest version 2.0. 2.0 meaning this high level kind of security. You can connect to the inverter through Wi-Fi, through Bluetooth, through your local area network. It's very much standard in our products. Then we also the inverter also comes with a CT. So the current transformer, in case you have retards, you have reconnected, and that will monitor the consumption and the generation of the inverter itself. So the CT comes standard. Apart from that, we have the lead acid temperature, we have the communication cable to your lithium-ion batteries, in case you are doing lithium-ion batteries. Now, the other products, other accessories, as you can see, but here, just to summarize it up, buying the ES Unique products is already set to go for installation and commissioning. Now, apart from the ES Unique, what products do we give or do we offer as a whole? GoodWe also manufactures the Lynx A battery, which is a lithium iron phosphate battery. So two generations, because you're also developing and advancing our technology, we have two generations available in the market right now. So the top battery, the battery on the top is the generation one. It's a Lynx A generation one. Then we have generation three, which is the battery at the bottom. So to meet different needs, that's why we have these two batteries. Basically, the generation one is for the 0.5C charge discharge homes. And if your home requires surge loads and the kinds, then we have the generation three, which is a 1.5C discharge capability. Now, the batteries are very much complex in the sense that the safety and how you're going to use it is very much flexible. For example, if you'd like to scale up your systems up to 75 kilowatt hour, that's an option. So the Lynx, the generation one can reach a maximum of 75 kilowatt hour if you're scaling it up. Scaling it up in the sense that either you're doing floor mounting, cabinet mounted, or even wall mounted, you can do that up to 75 kilowatt hour with the generation one. Generation three is now much more bigger in terms of scaling up, so up to 153.6 kilowatt hour. So that's enough to back up your house. Okay. Now we also have 1 year maintenance free for generations. This allows you to store the products in your warehouse for a whole year without the need of maintaining the battery charge level. So the battery, actually our battery come, let me say, in a sleep mode. They will not discharge up until you need to commission it. That's when it becomes active in terms of self-discharge and the lights. So you'll get up to 1 year maintenance free without any charge maintenance. Batteries are compact and elegant, so they're very much good looking aesthetically in case you're installing it in an open place. And uniquely, if you're doing your commissioning, so very much, let me say, advantageous for installers, uh, also for the homes. In case you're setting up your system in the night, you just finish up your work, and the PV is not there, and the grid is also not there, then our battery can fully support the commissioning process. This is called the black start capability. So the battery fully powers the inverter, allowing you to set up your system and commission it right until it starts working. So that's the black start capability. Then the life cycle is over 6,000. And temperature issue, that's not a problem. We have a wide operating temperature with a high efficiency of 96%. So that's our low voltage Lynx A battery features. How does it look like? As you can see, a bit of LEDs at the front just to show you the state of charge and the status, whether you have a fault or not. It comes with hangers to allow you to lift it. And it also comes with a bracket. So the mounting bracket, you have options. You can do the floor mounted bracket, you can do the cabinet, you can also do the wall mounting bracket. So it's very much optional on how you'd like to install or set up your Lynx A battery. And yes, it's a smart battery with its own built-in beacons. So setting up the Lynx A battery is very easy when you're doing if you have a cabinet, then yes, you just rack up the batteries into the cabinet. If you have a wall mounted, then you just mount the bracket on the wall and proceed with mounting the bracket mounting the Lynx A battery to the bracket, the wall bracket. Now this picture shows you how to set up a floor mounting structure using the Lynx A floor mounting bracket. So just a couple of steps and you're done. Remove the hangers, slot in the bracket at the front, slot in the bracket at the back, and that's it. And repeat the next with the battery on top. So you can stack up your battery vertically up to 6 pieces, and then continue another vertical, let me say another slot or a bank just beside it, doing up to 6 pieces as well. So you keep doing that, either 15 pieces or 30 pieces, depending on the generation that you have. And eventually you'll be achieving this kind of display. So single battery, 2 batteries, or 6 batteries stacked up. And yeah, that's how your system will be looking at. So easy scalability. Now about the scalability, GoodWe also manufactures its own combiner box for the battery itself. So in case if you would like to utilize all the 6,000 life cycle, basically all batteries should be wired in this kind of wiring, increasing the number of paralleling cables to the common source. So this allows uniform charging and uniform discharge. So you get to utilize all the battery's life cycles that the product was manufactured. So our combiner boxes can withstand up to 12 pieces of batteries. So yeah, if you're doing 12 pieces of Linksys battery, then yes, we do have a combiner for that. And yes, at the far end, every battery also comes with its own accessories like the terminal resistor. And yeah, you can also purchase the slotting is optional. You can slot in the power cables that you can use for the battery paralleling. So up to 12 pieces, we have a combiner for that. If you're doing more than 12 pieces, then you'll have to do a third-party bus bar and basically try utilize this same kind of wiring. Increase the number of runs to the common source so that your battery has a uniform charge and discharge. Then yeah, that basically summarizes the GoodWe solution that we are having with the ES Uniq and the Lynx A battery. And let me also introduce you the various scenarios that you use to maximize the functionalities that we have in our ES Uniq, the inverter and the battery. So first off, if you want scalability, in short, big or large scalability, then ES Unique with the Links A, that's the way to go. Now, scaling up, you can do up to 6 pieces of the ES Unique inverter. Now, these 6 pieces will be working in master-slave topology. So the master controls all the slaves and reports to the monitoring portal, and the system will be working as one. The system works as one to the highest level. Why would I say highest level? If you'd like to upgrade your system, then you can send it to the master, and the rest will be you can do a batch upgrade of your system. That is, you can also do remote parameter setting in the whole 6 pieces of inverter. So that's how easy it is if you're scaling up the system. So 6 pieces in parallel, and for each inverter you can do maximum 30 pieces. So how flexible it is, you can do each inverter 30 pieces of battery, or you can do a common bank of 30 pieces of batteries, and all these inverters connecting to the common bank to support your home. So this allows you to scale up your system to the level that you need. Now, the next point is how smart your system should be. We're now moving into a smart home technology. GoodWe boasts of providing a smart home solution, and this is one of the points that we're offering. Now, the ES Unique also comes with the smart load control. So smart loads control in the sense that if you have big load consumption appliances, let's say, for example, heat pumps, and your grid is not available, you are operating or running on your batteries. You will not like to fully drain your batteries because you want to use your heat pumps. Basically, the system can be done, set up automatically, or you can do a timing mode, or you can switch off particular loads manually. So the inverter comes with a dry contact, which you can send is a dry contact signal to an ATS or even a contactor. Then once, let's say, your battery charge level reaches a very low point, for example, 40% state of charge, then the inverter can automatically send a switch off signal to the heat pump so that the rest of the battery charge is only drained through the most critical loads in your house. So that's a smart way and efficient way to use your energy and not really go on a blackout in case you're running on an off-grid state and it's in the middle of the night. The other feature is the integration of the PV and the generator solutions. So I did mention previously that the inverter comes with a dedicated diesel generator port. And as you can see on the drawing, this is a system diagram of how you can install the ES Unique with the batteries and all that. You'd see that there's a breaker number 7. That's a breaker from the power supply from the generator. So the inverter has a dedicated diesel generator port to connect the power from the generator. Now, not only just connecting power, but this inverter is smart enough to achieve various functionalities whenever the generator would like to start or how long it's supposed to start. For example, we can control what time it starts, what time it stops. We can restrict the working hours or the running hours of the generator. We can also set up the idle time of the generator when it's starting up, when it's switching off. We can also edit the capacity of the generator connected to that inverter and also choose the runtime settings. It's very much smart to the point that you can use the inverter with new generators and old generators simply because you can also edit the voltages and frequencies that come from the generator. I mean, the voltage and frequency that the inverter can accept from the generator. So that's how much we are very integrated with the systems right now residentially. So PV and diesel generator integration achievable with the ES Uniq. Now, backing up a whole house, scalability kicks in when you talk about home backup solution. And in terms of scalability, here's the point. One ES Uniq inverter can handle up to 30 batteries. Now, 30 batteries, that will give you 153 around the kilowatt hour of storage. Now, apart from that, a single inverter can handle up to the maximum inverter that we have, the highest is the 12 kilowatt. So a single inverter, which is a 12 kilowatt ES Uniq, can handle a surge load of 24 kilowatt for as long as 10 seconds. Now, surge loads mostly don't really take 10 seconds. They will take around 3 seconds, but we are just to give you let me say, a bandwidth or just more time for your system to pick up. We are offering up to maximum 10 seconds for your inductive loads or the power surges. So the scalability of this system, you can do that for as many as 6 inverters in a single home. Basically, you can back up your heat pumps, you can back up your air conditioners and everything in your house using the ES Uniq and the mainstay solution. Then we have the microgrid solution. Now, with the microgrid solution, we have the ES Uniq. Now, similarly, I mentioned that the ES Uniq comes with the diesel generator port. That port is not strictly for diesel generator integration. It's customizable. So the same port during commissioning, you can set it up to be an input from an on-grid inverter. On-grid inverter is a grid-tied inverter. Now that grid-tied inverter is not, it can be a GoodWe inverter or even a third-party inverter. But whenever the grid fails, the ES Uniq inverter can still control the grid-tied inverter so that they work as one to support the loads in the backup. Similarly, it can also allow the charging and discharging of the battery. So the system utilizes your grid-tied inverter, so it works as one, and it establishes or achieves the microgrid solution. Now, apart from that, GoodWe's products are of high quality, high standards, but very user-friendly. And in that sense, our products are of long life cycle, and they are reliable and very much safe. So why do I say that? The integration of GoodWe solution is an all-in-one solution. So GoodWe manufactures its inverter, manufactures its battery, manufactures its, let me say, develops its own software, develops its own protocol, develops its own monitoring software. So everything is in-house in GoodWe. And when I say in-house, the products that we are releasing into the market go through a number of tests. So one of the tests that we do is the product test. So in case it's a battery, we'll check the under voltage or rebooting test, the false charge test, the shock test, the black start test, the protocol compatibility test. So all these, we do all these tests in-house before releasing the product into the market. So our procedure is basically to do a beta test and ensure that the product is well operating and they are of a perfect match. Perfect match from the battery to the inverter, to the communication protocol, to the communication of monitoring portal. So it's an adequate risk assessment procedure that GoodWe does, which is very much, if you compare it with the other products in the market, our products are of top tier. That's why we are tier 1 manufacturers in 2025. And talk about tier one manufacturing. Tier one manufacturing, we support from just the product supply. We also give you an lifetime solution. So lifetime solution is that our products can be monitored by our own in-house SEMS monitoring portal. So a remote monitoring portal is not just for monitoring, but also for controlling of the products remotely. Various achievable functionalities. Now, through the phone or even through your laptop, you get the monitoring of your system. You get the alarms status, you get the remote control. You can also download the system report. The user interface is very much friendly. You can see the flow chart telling you what's being generated, arrows, what's going where, what's happening, status of the battery, status of the inverter, all this you can get it in one single display. Also, our portal is multilingual, so different languages can also be set up. Whenever you're opening your system, you can choose the particular language that you want to use. And it's a community interaction. Not only are you monitoring your portal, but you can also reach out to the GoodWe support system, the after sales. You can also check uh, your product warranties in this same portal. So it's a number of features all in one provided to you to ensure that you're very much comfortable in your house as you use the GoodWe ES Unique and the Links A battery. Now, apart from that, we have flexible communication options. So flexibility is it's a nature in GoodWe. Why do I say that? We have optional features that you can integrate with the inverter. And in terms of usability, then we have optional ways that you can use to set up your system. You can set up the GoodWe system using a Wi-Fi interaction with your mobile phone, either Bluetooth or even the local area network. Apart from that, the product also comes with a screen. So all these features allow you various options of interacting and setting up the ES Unique inverter as well as the Links A battery. Um, in the setting up process, uh, you set up the link set, the whole solution is set up through the inverter. So setting up the ES Unique at the same time, you'll be setting up the links there. So it's a direct all-in-one commissioning process. You don't need to do a separate commissioning on the battery, then a separate commissioning on the inverter itself. Now, export limitation and load monitoring. We have uh, regions that allow export to the grid. We have regions that do not allow export to the grid. We also have give you the capability of monitoring your consumption from the grid's end. You can also monitoring your consumption from the generation, that is the PV side. So ES Unique has all these features included. Now, first off, the inverter also comes with a standard CT cable. Now, that's not a fixed way of installing it. There's an option of including a smart meter in between. That is in case you want to do long distance communication. So the smart meter to the inverter can be able to achieve up to 100 meters communication length, and still you'll be able to accurately monitor. Accuracy is the key in this installation option. If you want more accuracy for longer distance, then include a smart meter in between. If the distance is short, then the CT is very much capable of achieving the export limitation and the load monitoring. So the CT is installed at the grid side. Then we have the loads and the batteries. Yeah. Then you can fully back up or segregate your loads in terms of criticalities. Put some on the on-grid port, put some on the backup port, or put all of it in the backup port, because basically we have up to double the surge supporting capability for maximum of 10 seconds. So yeah, apart from that, panels are becoming of high generating capacities. They're becoming bigger and bigger and becoming more efficient. GoodWe also tracked this kind of development. And with that, you're also seeing a very much surge use of bifacial modules. That's not a problem to GoodWe. The inverter itself comes with the 16 ampere string capability per port, and per MPPT we can do 32 amperes. So basically we are able to support a 182 wafer size panel and a 210 millimeter wafer size panel. So whether you have small panels or big panels, the ES Unique inverter is still workable for you residentially. And yeah, Just to summarize it up, let me take you through a number of the case references that we've managed to install and running smoothly. So for example, we have, this is in Ghana. This is a 20 kilowatt. Basically, there is another inverter on the side of it, but a common battery bank. So the battery bank you can see over there. So two pieces of 10 kilowatt ES Uniq working in as one master slave. The battery bank is 40 kilowatt hour. This system is incorporated with the Lynx A Generation 1 battery, and it's stopping the blackouts, maximizing the benefits for the residents, and yeah, net zero emissions. So this is in Ghana. Then you also have another one in Ghana. Well, apart from seeing the residential ES Uniq, you can also see the C&I HT series. That's 100 kilowatts. The red inverter is the HT. It's 100 kilowatt C&I. Then the white inverter is the ES Uniq. Now, what you'll notice, we give two options of the ES Uniq. The first slot of the ES Uniq can be a screenless version, but it's becoming more popular to have a screened version. So what you're seeing right now is the screenless version of the ES Uniq. So this is a 10 kilowatt, 25 kilowatt hour system, basically to support an office setup. So the ES Uniq hybrid inverter supports the office setup to prevent blackouts to the critical loads. But the grid tied, yes, the HT will only be supporting the big loads to reduce the consumption from the grid. Then we have a full home backup or the full house backup can run off grid. So this is two pieces of ES Uniq, both are 10 kilowatt, and the storage size is 80 kilowatt hour. So this basically shows we can back up a house with various orientations using the various MPPTs that the ES Uniq has, and still allow you to be self-consuming, working off-grid, and very much comfortable in your house. So yeah, 20 kilowatt, 80 kilowatt hour. Then, as you basically you can see, scalability with GoodWe is very easy. Up to 2 pieces, single pieces, you can do up to 6 pieces. Regardless, your system will be working very much efficient. So this is a 20 kilowatt, 30 kilowatt system for a farm. So the farm is scaling up. Similarly, well, basically the farmer started with a single, then included a second inverter. As the farm keeps making more savings, more inverters are getting added. So it's very scalable and easy to install and set it up. So yeah, that summarizes the GoodWe ES Uniq hybrid inverter and the Lynx A battery. So we'll jump into the Q&A section, which is actually our last section. Caroline, do you have questions for the Q&A? Also, feel free to jump into the Q&A in case you have more questions. I will highlight and explain more.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for your presentation and for elaborating more about our residential solutions, more specifically the ES Uniq and the Lynx A. I hope all attendees found this webinar useful. So jumping into the Q&A section, we have Sarwa. The comment is, thank you for the nice presentation. Is it possible to get the file? Yes, Sarah, after this presentation, after this webinar, we'll share with you the presentation on your email. And in case you'd like to contact our local team, we'll also provide you the necessary contact details for that. So far, we don't have any questions. We kindly encourage you to type in. Okay, we have one question from Amar. What's the point of having an on-grid inverter, 125 kilowatt? This is definitely on the CNI parts. Okay, so the focus for today is on the residential, but we can still address it. So what's the point of having an on-grid inverter 125 kilowatt connected to the microgrid port?
So basically, okay, so this is not really a microgrid working scenario. These are two systems working in a single home. So the C&I has its own separate loads that it's supporting, that is the 100 kilowatt, its own separate loads working independently to reduce consumption from the grid, while the ES Uniq has its own critical loads connected at the backup port, such that whenever the grid fails, those critical offices, appliances don't switch off. We have a UPS level switching, so the appliances won't notice or won't, there's a seamless switching that is. So residentially, ES Unique is capturing the critical loads, while the grid-tied inverter is basically capturing the big loads to reduce consumption from the grid. But yeah, we'll be focusing on the ES Unique and links for this webinar.
Okay, I hope the question has been answered well, Amar, that it's clear for you. And yeah, so far no questions. We have 9 minutes before we end the webinar. Kindly input your questions in the Q&A. Okay, one more question from Hasti. Are the screenless inverters and inverters with screens in ES Unique series? Hasti. Are
Yeah,
there screenless inverters and inverters with screens in the ES Unique series?
yes. So what you're seeing right now is the screenless. So the screenless will come with the LEDs at the front, but it's now becoming more popular to have a screened version of the ES Unique because it's easier to set it up using the screen by the installers. So currently we are having more popularity to purchase of the screened ES Unique. So I would advise you to prioritize purchasing the ES Unique with the screen version. That will be much easier for your installers, much more flexible in terms of installing and the likes. So kindly opt to take the screened version of the ES Unique inverter.
Okay. Hasti, I hope the response was clear. Any other questions? Please type them on the Q&A section located at the bottom of your screen. I think also to add on to that, we have a local team within the Middle East, and also our office is located in Dubai for the Middle East team. And yeah, feel free to contact us and also visit our office as well. The office is at Silicon Oasis, Dubai. It supports the Middle East and North Africa region. Any more questions? Kindly type them in. Okay, so Mamon asks, is it possible to connect 3 inverters of single phase to work as 3-phase inverter? Is it possible to connect 3 inverters of single phase to work as 3-phase inverters?
So I would like to try adjust the way you'd like to do your installation. If you'd like to achieve a three-phase system, it's much more affordable to use a single piece inverter. A single piece inverter, let's say you'd like to do 20 kilowatt three-phase system. Taking a 10 kilowatt ES Unique with another 10 kilowatt ES Unique, that functionality in GoodWe to make a three-phase, that functionality in GoodWe is not achievable. Why GoodWe did not opt to do that? Reason is we have a more affordable way to achieve such kind of a setup. We have the ET low voltage inverter, which is a three-phase inverter that uses low voltage batteries. So the low voltage batteries are the GoodWe low voltage batteries like the links there. So that kind of a system is much more simpler, much more affordable, much more efficient in setting up a three-phase. So if you'd like to do three-phase, kindly take the ET low voltage inverter. That will be very efficient, very affordable to set up. Do not proceed with using the ES Unique to set up three-phase. ES-Uniq will not achieve that.
Okay, another question from Dennis. In terms of compatibility, can we parallel the newer screened ES-Uniq and older ones, the screenless inverters, to have one system still at single phase? In terms of compatibility, can we parallel the newer ES-Uniq, the screen version, and the older ones, the screenless inverters, to have one system still at single phase?
So what's happening with the introduction of the screen? There's a bit of changes also done in the protocol. So it's not achievable to mix the screened version of the ES-Uniq with the screenless version. You'll have to do separate the loads and make the system work independently.
Okay, Dennis, I hope the question has been well answered. Okay, Mamon, is it possible to connect two batteries, 5 kilowatt LV, a lower voltage, to one inverter lower voltage? So is it possible to connect the ES-Uniq to two batteries?
Yeah, so if you'd like to do such kind of installation, I'll opt for you to check the Lynx A Generation 3 because it has a higher C rating, up to 1.5 C. So if you have two batteries, that's around 10 kilowatts hour. If you do 1.5, you can see the maths going up to 15 kilowatt surge support. So Lynx A Generation 3, you can connect that very easily with the 10 kilowatt ES-Uniq. So yes, it's possible. Just ensure that your backup loads do not exceed the C rating of the battery.
Okay. So, Mamon, sorry, is it possible to connect? I think the person wanted to elaborate on their question. Is it possible to connect one battery of 5 kilowatts to two inverters?
Okay, that question I'll restructure it. If you'd like to use a single bank of battery to many inverters, up to 6 pieces, that is achievable. So that single bank will be communication-wise is to a single inverter, but power-wise, that's going to be shared across the number of inverters. Now, the risk of doing a single battery to two inverters is the C rating. Having two inverters, let's say two 6 kilowatt inverters with a single battery, that is like connecting a 12 kilowatt load to a 5 kilowatt hour battery. That's more, it's an overload to the battery. So achievable wise, if the load is less than the C rating of the battery, then that system will work. But I would urge you to do more battery banks because if you're doing more than one piece of inverter, then the battery bank should be high. Let me just go back to the drawing on the master so that I can better explain how the system work in case you have scaled up your system. Yes, yeah, so here it is. So this is a power connection. You could see this is a single bank. The bank is shared. There's a common connection point across the three inverters in terms of power cable. So the power cables will go to a common bus bar. Then the batteries will connect to that common bus bar. Now, the battery communication is in daisy chain. So there's a single loop from the master inverter to the first battery. Then the communication cable gets looped across the batteries. Then on the last battery, you have the terminal resistor. So I think you'll be achieving, yes, so here it is. The blue line is the communication cable. Goes to the first battery, then it's looped across all the batteries to the last, then in the last battery, you have the terminal resistor connected. So that's how the communication will be working. The communication is only to the master inverter, but the power is to all the inverters connected in that system. Then the master inverter controls the charge and discharge seamlessly and uniformly across the inverters.
Okay, a question from Joseph. Does the ES Unique inverter accept other types of batteries? I mean, like other brands.
Yes, so we have other brands like BYD already compatible with the ES Unique, but yeah, it's compatible with third-party batteries. That's achievable.
Okay, Mamon asks, is high voltage also possible?
High voltage. So high voltage basically is the specifications of the inverter on the battery port. So this inverter only accepts low voltage batteries. So 48 volts, 50 volts, such kind of batteries, only acceptable for the ES unit. In case you would like to do high voltage batteries, we also have a portfolio for that. We have inverters that will take high voltage batteries. We have single phase inverters that take in high voltage batteries. We have three-phase inverters that take in high voltage batteries. We'll escalate that topic separately so we can introduce you to the high voltage batteries later on. But for this case, the ES Unique only handles the low voltage batteries.
Okay, I think yeah, we're done. We're done with the questions. Thank you very much for joining our webinar today. And as stated earlier, we'll share with you the webinar presentation on email. Thank you very much for your time and for trusting our solar solutions. Patrick?
Yeah, thank you for the attendance. We'll be sharing a number of documentations for the after the webinar, that is later on, along with the recording later on. We'll share the battery compatibility. That's a topic that has been raised. We'll share the specs, the datasheet of the products, so that you know the limits of working with. We'll also share the manuals. So all the documentations that you need, we'll be sharing them to you. Apart from that, we'll also be sharing our media pages, the LinkedIn, the YouTube, so that you keep track with what achievements GoodWe is doing in the market currently. So yeah, looking forward to supporting you later on in all the many installations that you will be doing after this webinar presentation. So yeah, happy to host you. Have a good day.